Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Grandmaster Shaymin and today we're going to be moving on to episode 4 of Fatal 12. In the last episode we got summoned to this odd room where we found Miharu and Rinka as well as Parka, who seems to be basically a goddess of time, and 10 other people who will be basically trying to find out enough information about any of the other 11 to eliminate them from this, I don't want to call it a game, but this divine selection, I guess you could call it. That's what Parka called it anyway. Basically, we have to figure out what on earth is going on, because it seems that there is a way to elect people. As Parka says, another point to stress is regarding selective elections. For example, number 1 selects number 12 and number 3 selects number 1. Should number 1 succeed in eliminating number 12, then number 3 is given the opportunity to eliminate number 1. And basically, I assume whatever the fuck that means, I don't know how you decide who starts selecting people or electing people. But, all I know is that if you get 3 of the cards about the other person, based on your knowledge, you essentially can eliminate them and remove them, and the one winner will regain their life, and the others will be wiped out of it. Not that they had lives to begin with, because everyone in this room is dead. Once all have been decided whether or not to elect someone, said elections will take place in chronological order based on your number. So concludes the basic rules of governing divine selection. However, know that this scenario can involve number 1 electing number 12 and number 12 electing number 3. Should number 1 succeed in eliminating number 12, number 3's election is null and void. In which case, in such a case, where the procedure goes more complex, the order becomes fixed as to ensure the maximum number of eliminations possible. Hearing her explanation, all that makes me realize the meaning behind these cards. I ended up dying at some point without realizing it, and now I'm forced to take part in this ordeal. It's why I've been given these cards. She calls it divine selection, but this whole thing, collecting cards and eliminating others, it's practically a game with our futures at stake. Gathering information on strangers isn't an easy task, but so long as you can manage that, then... To be fair, they're all already dead. So, in a way, this is kind of like a nice thing that Parka's doing, is the divine selection giving someone's life back to them. In a sense. It's basically over should anyone gather all 3 pieces of information about you, right? That's just... That does seem to be a bit... to be a solid strategy where you can keep yourself safe. My eyes are affixed to Miharu after hearing her, as I hope she'll continue. It involves holding the 3 cards relevant to whoever elects you. You can use those to protect yourself, causing both your and the cards of whoever elected you to disappear, or so I assume. They won't be able to elect you after that, right? But you won't be able to elect them either. But if the one who elects you opts to reveal one of their personal cards in response, they cancel your defense. That's the gist of it, correct? I mean, that's a little bit confusing, but I think, I think I've got my head around it. Indeed, I'm glad that at least one of you can recount the details. So what happens if those 2 end up being the only remaining participants? We can cross that bridge if we ever reach it. She makes it clear that nothing else needs to be said. I try to interject, but she ignores me. That's not all, though. There's a way to escape being eliminated even if you're selected, isn't there? A grin flashes across Parker's face in response. For example, if one participant is elected by two others at the same time. Both have to fight for the right to elect them, and as Parker said before, they'd have to reveal one personal card for that right, correct? Oh shit, that was Miharu. Does the election get cancelled if neither chooses to reveal a personal card? You certainly have your wits about you! Yes, that is correct! Miharu closes her book and notices Parka is about to continue her explanation. I try to close mine, but it forces itself back open until the cards can make their way back inside. After they have, I can close it just fine. Seeing real objects behaves like a smartphone app is a bit weird. Keep in mind that individuals can only make one election per night. The election itself begins once all participants have decided whether or not to take part. Should one participant obtain all three pieces of information with the relevation of another's personal card, they must wait until the next night to elect them. Looks like there's a proper procedure for all of this. First, everyone has to decide if they want to elect someone. And once they've made that choice, the election itself begins. I can tell that the rules she's explaining are vital, so I try my best to keep up despite my persistent confusion. There is a merit in eliminating another participant, I should note. If you do so, you have the right to take one of the cards they held. In exchange, though... This has gone on for far too long. The same voice that interrupted her earlier speaks out again. Oh. Don't. Please, don't. Spare me, Bill. Shut up! You don't have the luxury of babbling on like this either, goddess. The man clearly has no sympathy for the woman pleading with him. In fact, he seems to feel nothing at all, much like Parka. Very well, then, let us begin. Tonight's election shall now take place. Shit. Do I have to elect? I can't recall much of what happens next. Once the man on platform 12 elects the woman on platform 6, they are both raised upwards and out of sight. Not long after... Oh, so that way the other participants don't get unnecessary notes. Not long after, platform 12 descends with the man on it. I assume that means he has all three of her cards and has succeeded in eliminating her. After he returns, I think he shows a card to Parka and claims it in the name of numeral 8. Having to say which card you take is probably what she would have explained if he hadn't interrupted her earlier, which means everyone else gets to know the card you claimed. Worry not, for this is all taking place as you sleep. Time flows differently from the real world here. Once you wake up, you'll be greeted by the morning as usual. Tonight's session resulted in one elimination. I bid you all farewell for tomorrow. My consciousness begins to fade as she says that. The sensation is similar to when you start falling asleep. My train of thought is completely stopped at this point, though. There's no way I can accept this. Not a single thing about it. This is kind of wild. So, interesting. So that one, the scared chick was eliminated quickly, called him Bill, so they know each other. The most accurate way to describe how I felt when I woke up this morning would probably be melancholic. Haruhi? Granted, I'm not sure I even slept in the first place, but what I am sure is that certain things I've forgotten have come back to me. Wednesday, May 2nd, Naomi and I were on our way back to Lion House from school. We were trapped in a fire on the train at that time. That explained why the fire is listed as my cause of death. And it was no dream, it was reality. Oh, so it was... But wait. Oh, right, wait. Name... Number 1, name Mishimi Brinka or whatever. Shishi Yeah, Shishi Mia Ringa, or whatever the last name was. I thought that was her one card of herself. If cause of death was fire, also, that's so confusing. The fact that I couldn't stop shaking after remembering it lent credence to its veracity. Even if my mind had forgotten, my body certainly hasn't. The fire broke out so fast that I barely had time to react, although I remember a feeling of relief at knowing Naomi was safe. As far as how the fire happened, I'm not entirely sure. My body starts to quiver, and I get headaches whenever I try to think back. However, I do recall a very specific bag and keychain attached to it for some reason. It turns out that I did indeed meet Parka after my death, too. Like she said that night, I had already heard her explanation once before. There's no doubt it happened in that odd dream world, too. I guess I have got no choice for the time being but to believe last night's dream and piece my memories together. I can't wrap my head around this at all. Much as I'd like to, this is the best I can manage right now. Even if I accept that it wasn't just a dream, there's still way too much I don't understand. I couldn't find a single noteworthy incident when I checked the internet for any info about railway accidents on that date either. Parker did say that the cause of our deaths has been undone. In other words, the fire that killed me never happened once I became a participant in divine selection. That's the only explanation. That odd book's perched up on my bookshelf like always. I wonder if this one and the one that appeared in the Court of Fate are the same book. If so, that'd mean it makes its way between here and the dream world on its own. Whatever, there's no point in overthinking things for now. Still, 4 cards in the book too. Wait, 4? That can't be right. Parker mentioned that we would automatically obtain card when we learned some accurate information, something about giving thoughts in tangible form. The card detailing my cause of death isn't here for some reason. That's not all. Miharu turned out to be a participant as well, so she should have her own set of cards. I figured I would at least have a card with her full name since I know it, but I don't. I wonder if there are some other conditions you need to meet. That isn't the main issue regarding her, though. I've been trying to keep myself from thinking about it, but it's time I face reality. Only one of us can make it through divine selection. That means either me or Miharu will need to be eliminated. That being said, I'd like to talk to her first. That's the tiniest chance that this might have just been my imagination going wild. I eventually abandon my train of thought and get ready to go to school. I make toast for breakfast, but end up shoving it in the fridge because I can't summon the will to eat anything. That's fair, really. God, man. That would mess me up. That would be so hard. Not only that, but Miharu died at the same time that you did. To think about that, that's kind of wild. Morning, Rennie. Mao's already in the classroom by the time I arrive. Emeka Girls University High School. I keep forgetting that. Otherwise known as Emeka High. An apparently traditional school with facilities from kindergarten right up to college. Oh, holy shit. Like to college or like through, like it has a college in it. It's co-ed through middle school, but at the high school level, all the boys have to go somewhere else. Why? That seems a bit odd to have it be co-ed until high school, especially if they're the same establishment. People seem to have this image of it being one of those stereotypical all-girls Christian establishments, but it's not all that much different from your typical top-tier high school. Yesterday was fun, wasn't it? Yeah, fun. I can't motivate myself to give a cheerful reply. What I saw last night refuses to leave my mind, which, I mean, that's fair. Accepting the fact that I should be dead is proving to be a bit tricky. I mean, you gotta face it at some point. That's gotta be rough, though. Like, you or Miharu are gonna die. Potentially both. Right? Hey now, where's your enthusiasm? Still tired from yesterday? Wouldn't be surprised considering how much we walked around. Yeah, I ended up falling asleep as soon as I got back. Probably why I woke up super early this morning, too. That'd explain you being here on time on a Monday. Whoa there, let's not imply I'm always late on Mondays, even though it's true. Talking to Mao helps me cheer up a little. If it turns out last night wasn't just my imagination, then I really don't know what to do about it. I'm probably better off just living my life like usual, until I get the chance to speak with Miharu at least. Ironically enough, Miharu hasn't arrived by the time classes begin. Well, that's the first signal. In fact, she doesn't come to school at all. I've sent her a message, but it's listed as being unread. This, following what happened last night, causes me to panic. Fortunately, Mao has some calming news for me. Seems like Miharu skipped class because she was feeling sick. She said she's in good enough shape to go to work, though. Huh? She replied to you? Yeah, in a flash, too. She never even read my message. That's weird. Maybe she missed it. I make an expression that screams you're so full of it in response. She tries to avoid eye contact, but eventually gives in, and I refuse to stop staring at her. Did something happen between you two yesterday? Yesterday? Can't help but repeat part of her question back to her. Don't tell me Miharu's told her everything. You two were alone during the parade, right? A wave of relief washes over me when I hear that. She's only talking about the amusement park. In that case, I can't think of anything in particular. Mao seems legitimately concerned, though. Well, I can tell that Miharu's got something on her mind. But what? Who knows? She wastes no time in reverting to a feigned ignorance. Come on, don't keep me out of the loop. And here I was ready for something heavy, considering how rare it was to see Mao looking so serious. I could tell you, but here's the thing. You're the only one that can solve her problem. Why is that? So see you later. Wait! I think I have an idea on what it is. So Mao knows. And since it's obviously not going to be about what happened last night, because they didn't even know that they were both in this situation until then, that would also explain why Miharu was trying to work up the courage to tell her that she likes her. I mean, I can only assume. maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I want to say, I mean, with a group of entirely female characters, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, is that maybe Miharu likes Rinka. In which case, that would make sense. And maybe she told Mao, and Mao laughs. Mao ignores me and trots out of the classroom. She's not in any club, so it's common for her to head straight home after school. In fact, she rarely stops by Lion House either. And I always get brushed off whenever I ask what she's up to. Miharu. What's on her mind exactly? Thinking back to yesterday, she did look like she wanted to say something when we were alone. Considering the dream that followed, the two might be related. Which reminds me, Mao mentioned that Miharu would be going to work. I get what she's saying now. She really does care for her friends. There's just one issue, though. It's hard to find. I find it hard to keep my concerns about where she works at bay. I know the name of the place and where it is, but it's kind of hard to stroll through there. Ugh. I mean, it's a restaurant by definition, but it's a bit different from your standard fare. It'd be fine if Mao tagged along, but chances are she won't want to. After giving it some thought, I grab my phone and fire off a message. Ah, so you hoaxed Naomi into going with you, Jesus. Do you like to come to places like this often? Nope, this is my first time. I was just hoping to chat with Miharu since she works here, but Miharu's workplace is a maid cafe in Akihabara. Makes sense. It's a small, privately run establishment, so the staff just has to wear maid outfits, meaning none of the usual business you see from bigger outlets, but it still takes some courage to just stroll in. There's no way I could have done it on my own, which is why I brought Naomi along as my sacrifice of sorts. Unsurprisingly, all the customers are guys, which helps us feel especially out of place. I'd appreciate it if you learned to act a little more ladylike, Rinka. Miharu sounds beyond exhausted as she drops off my coffee. Sorry, but I needed to talk with you no matter what. You did read the message I sent, so I decided I'd come by when Mao said you'd be at work. So it was her, huh? She messaged me this morning while I wasn't feeling too well, so I replied saying I should be able to make it to work. You messaged me this afternoon, didn't you? Yeah, during lunch break. I forgot to charge my phone last night, so I had to turn it off while I let it charge today. Now I'm upset I missed an ever so elusive message from you. Oh, sorry, here you go. With that, she places Naomi's warm and fluffy cocoa in front of her, but she misses the coaster a little bit, which leads to inadvertently slamming it down on the table. Naturally, this surprised some of the customers, causing many of their gazes to turn our way. Dear me, I'm awfully sorry. She feel like she did that on purpose. I like this scene for some reason. I like the art. The art in this game is terrific. Miharu turns to Naomi and delivers a polite bow. Naomi looks terrified despite being on the receiving end of an apology. Unlike Lion House, this isn't a place where you can sit down and relax, unfortunately. I wish you would have figured this much, based on the fact that this is a maid cafe. If you need to talk, I'll pop by the Lion House after my shift. Well, assuming that you're fine with that, of course. Yeah, I'll be fine. Sorry for bugging you. But I gotta say, the maid outfit really suits you. Makes your natural good looks stand out even more. It suits me. Wow, I'd never thought I'd live to see the day you'd say that to me. Now you've gone and got me all embarrassed. Her face is bright red as she says that, a very uncommon occurrence. You'd imagine she's used to customers complimenting her, but I guess it's different when it's a classmate. I did choose this job because I could earn good money in exchange for acting nice to people, but after hearing that, I'd say it's been worth it. I'm not sure if I should say this out loud. When Naomi says that, the other customers burst out in laughter. As you can see, that's just how I do things. Everything else is fine with it. That's pretty cool. As much as I can appreciate how she places the unique work environments, I still don't like being in one. Anyway, sit back and relax. She gives us perfectly rehearsed work smile before moving on. I'm not too sure if my coming along was a good idea. Don't worry, I feel the same way. Figured that there'd be some girls here scouting out the cute outfits, but I figured wrong. That isn't quite what I meant. Ignoring Naomi's stuttering, I make an effort to start my coffee. We finish up our drinks and hurry and leave it just as quickly. We get on the same train back as well, but we have to split up at Shinjuku Station, my stop. Oh, I thought like we were gonna see that one chick. Once it hits 9 p.m., I start preparations to close up shop. I opened up pretty late today, so there weren't many customers. I used to get lots of customers coming after lunch when my gran ran the store, but I can't make much. It's no surprise they'd stop coming. Even so, the fact that some people still come by because they enjoy being able to relax and chat here makes me happy. It's worth mentioning that my gran handles all business and financial decisions for the Lion House, even while in the countryside. I put in orders and such myself, but that's based on her instructions after seeing each daily report. This is made possible thanks to the laptop she took with her. She's actually more tech literate than I am, despite her age. Around the time I finish cleaning up the store, someone makes their way through the door. Hearing a little bell jingle, I look over to see who it is. Hey, you. It's Miharu, who's changed back into her school uniform. Just remembering her in that maid outfit nearly causes an involuntary grin. I don't mean that in a bad way. It looked a lot better on her than I imagined, although I bet most things do, considering she's tall and stylish. In the end, it's her work outfit, so it's kind of rude of me to laugh. Hey, did work drag on? Yeah, sorry about that. The girl who was gonna follow my shift cancelled out of nowhere, so I had to stay behind. I can't say I'm too impressed by whoever that is. It's still work, even if they're doing it part-time. It's one of those jobs where you get paid a lot of relatively easy work, so I'm not surprised. You won't find many of us working there actually trying to make a living off of it. Most of us are there just to make some money on the side. It carries extra weight when you, of all people, talk about someone's work ethic, though. The same applies to you. Oh, geez. Sorry. Move my thing. The majority of Miharu's wage goes straight into living expenses thanks to her situation at home. She doesn't pay for tuition either thanks to the scholarship. I don't know the full story, but her parents got divorced, so it's just her and her mom at home, I think. What's worse, her mom isn't in the best conditions, so she's struggling to keep a consistent income. I might not be working for the money myself, but I can't really compare myself to Miharu when I've got my gram supporting me. Speaking of which, I mentioned once that most of the money she makes comes from real estate. She always brushes me off when I try to dig deeper into it. Anyway, you wanted to try and speak with me, right? Is it alright if I get my hopes up? You know exactly what it's about. This'll take a while, so grab a seat. I take my apron off and move to sit down with her. It won't take long, actually. She stops before I can take my seat and then continues. I saw what unfolded in the dream world myself. There's no denying both of us should be dead right now. It seems you don't quite remember the details of how it happened, though. It came back to me afterwards. My memory's still jumbled up, but now I know that last night wasn't the first time I met that girl, or goddess, whatever you want to call her. That makes things simple then. We both need to make it through to the end. She said this with a radiant smile. How can you say that at a time like this? When I see her smile, I can't stop my gut feelings from taking over. I lose my self-control the moment she confirms that divine selection is real. Everything I've been holding up since waking up from that dream continues pouring out. It's simple. You wouldn't have any doubts about wanting to survive if I wasn't a participant, correct? But the fact that I am means you can't summon those survival instincts now. The idea of doing so in exchange for my life pains you far too much. That's just the type of person you are. You don't need to worry about that, though. I'm fully prepared to give my life for you. Excuse me? What did you say? Like I said, it's simple. I've given the choice between either of our lives. I'll choose yours in a heartbeat. What the hell? Don't say it like it doesn't mean anything. Don't even joke about something like that. Sorry, I shouldn't have shouted. I broke eye contact with her, giving myself a moment to regroup. Miharu replies by shaking her head and deciding on her next words. I say this with the utmost conviction. Besides, I think it's safe to say that every other participant is adamant on surviving too. Getting caught up in kindness spells certain death for you. How can you be so calm about this? As much as I don't want to think about it, she has a cause of death on her as her own as well. That moment's undoubtedly etched into her mind. My moment of death shocked me so much that my brain tried to block it out, and yet she's acting like it's no big deal. I don't understand how she does it. Because I am doing this for your sake. I'm glad we got to talk like this. You don't really have it in you to take the initiative, huh? I'm best off not giving you information about me then. The last thing I want is more people going after you. Let's act normal at school too. You'll make it through this, so you can't let anything disrupt your day-to-day life. I need you to work with me as much as possible, though. Your death would spell my own inevitable elimination. She finishes her spiel before facing away from me. I'll do whatever it takes to protect you. I can't open my mouth, not after she's left my line of sight. I've forgotten to ask her about her own personal cards, as well as the reason behind not obtaining any cards related to her. I made no progress for several days as I wait for the second round of divine selection to come. I start to teach Naomi how to brew coffee bit by bit, while I continue to engage in usual banter with Miharu and Mao. None of this helps to ease the tension in my heart, though. I can feel myself being pressured more and more by the reality that I've become a participant in divine selection again. Holy shit! This is actually pretty wild. Oh, whoa, who the fuck is this guy? There are people in this world who don't deserve to live, and I've never had any issue counting myself as one of them. I spent my entire life stealing and killing as part of the mafia in southern Italy. I got to where I am today through countless betrayals. I was never in the big leagues, but I managed to find success after success as a mafioso. Until, I messed up when I shouldn't have and, well, died. Success wasn't imperative in the world I lived. The key was to avoid failing. because a single failure meant you'd be 6 feet under. And that's exactly what happened to me. It's funny though, turns out Lady Luck's impartial when it comes to whom she gives her blessing. Getting tossed into divine selection means I have the opportunity to live on despite my mistake. I've been given a new lease on life. I might not deserve to live, but that's irrelevant in the face of my desire to do so. So long as the desire's there, nothing else matters. That's the Federico Carmiotti way of life. So this is the dude that she has the card for. One of them. I've failed only once in my life, and I'm determined to keep it that way. I guess Lady Luck isn't the only one to pay me a visit, though. Her much less unfortunate sister has made sure to stop by, too. Odette. Hey, Space Cadet, do you copy? This charming individual is Odette Malington. Much like me, she's a participant in divine selection. Under normal circumstances, we should be aiming to eliminate each other, but we've agreed to help each other out for the time being. Well, I guess it'd be more accurate to say she's forced me into a truce. Whoa, what the fuck? Why are we talking about these guys? I don't care about Federico and Odette. Nothing much. Oh god. Nothing much. Just thinking about something. How about you focus on some grub instead? I ain't gonna let good Chinese food go to waste, Capricorno. We use Capricorno as a code name when we're speaking. It's based on my zodiac sign. In turn, Vergé is how I referred to her. My only issue is that pronouncing French words is kind of tricky for an Italian like myself. Anyway, I'm the one that suggested using code names. I did that mainly so our names are valuable, because our names are valuable info when it comes to eliminating others in divine selection. Neither of us are supposed to know each other's real name. Knowing her, she's probably used to some connections to pull my name out of the lake. But she won't tell me that straight up. Obviously, I know her real name as well, but I haven't told her. Keeping that stuff to ourselves is the reason our current relationship works in the first place. Gotta admit, I couldn't be any happier that we're in Beijing. You ain't gonna find better Chinese grub anywhere. They served this stuff to the old emperors in the Qing dynasty, so even the sauces are perfect. What's more, it's loaded with calories to combat the cold climate here. For a gal who lives on the sea, that's a perfect blend of taste and calories is just what I need. In fact, I'd argue that this Peking duck right here probably isn't the greatest thing to ever come out of China. Fat's never tasted this good. The way that it's made is just as horrible as what they do to geese while making foie gras. But it doesn't change the fact that it's delicious. Least the ducks can do is hope they ain't as tasty in their next life. She shovels more food into her mouth, and the second she quits yapping. This is her third plate of Peking duck, by the way. She has plenty of gyoza and steamed buns in between, too. Hard to believe someone from France would order food like this, considering how particular they are about full-course meals. Just watching her pig out makes my stomach ache. Anyway, what I'm getting at here is while French food's still the best, I ain't got no issue with Chinese food play second fiddle. Now wait a second. I don't mind what's second and beyond, but I'm not gonna let you imply Italian food isn't anything but the best. What the fuck is this? Fine. Then let's go. Let's find us well-bred Chinese person. Whoever wins in a fight between us three can say their country has the best food. Okay, fine, you win. But you don't. Oh god, man, I don't know if I can keep that up. But let's change topics before anything escalates. She really would hunt for someone too. Only problem is that it doesn't matter what kind of tank she recruits. She'd still beat both of us senseless. Ain't many people who can take her in a fist fight, men included. She's the head of the group teaming with the tough seamen for a reason. How about it, Federico? Time for the booze? It's pretty great. Tastes like dissolved candy. Federico. Oh, give me a break, Odette. Just like that, she baited me into saying her real name. I don't know what you were thinking about earlier, but how about we quit wasting each other's time with this whole charade? What is that supposed to mean? I already know the answer, but I ask anyway. She chugs more whatever the fuck that is before showing me a big toothy smile, which she's been doing this whole time. I wonder. It's pretty obvious that everyone's first move in this divine selection game, or whatever, is going to be to get a death grip on the other participants' names. You wanted code names, but hey, it ain't going to stop anyone from finding out our real names. Cause of death, too. We all died at the same time. So all it'll take is a bit of digging to find out how everyone kicked the bucket, especially when it involves people like us. You catch my drift, right? Yeah, no need to treat me like an idiot. I'm aware that the information warfare's the name of the game here. Gotta find out each other's regret, too. That's interesting, though. Because if she does have 2, then she doesn't have a regret card then. Is that what she's saying? Because gold medal, unless that is also her card. But I have a feeling that it had the Roman numerals on it for a reason. So most likely gold medal was what, regret like number 9? And then cause of death, that wasn't number 1, was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. But I can find out. If we go to the menu here, we can actually go to our card book. And if we can find out. Yeah, see, cause of death, but this says number 4. So I'm guessing Federico here is number 3. Meanwhile, cause of death, number 4 is fire. So that can't be ours. The only one we have is name, which is Shishimai Rinka. So that's our card. And then we have Federico's card, and we have number 4's card, which number 4 was eliminated. Oh, no, wait, no, was it number 6? Number 4 is the one who was in the fetal position, correct? Or was this chick? Yeah, see, that chick's number 6, and she's dead. So, number 4 is, I think it was the chick in the fetal position that we looked at real fast. And then number 9 is gold medal, which is regret, which is going to be, what, this question mark person. Because we know Federico, we have Federico's name, and we know Federico knows Odette. And we know Odette has her own name as well as Federico's because they both know it by now. We don't know anything about those two, and we know Miharu has Rinka's name, which is interesting because Miharu might not actually be her real name then, because Rinka doesn't have Miharu's card. The fact that you wanted to use code names in spite of that proves that you're just a small fry. You should forget all about your real name. Everyone's regret card is handed out to other participants at random, right? That means one of them knows yours and mine, and one knows mine. Well, yeah, but there's no way to... Someone's gonna luck out and get all 3 pieces of info on either of us when they're handed out at random. No one elected either of us during the first round, which serves as proof. Doesn't seem like the Indian guy has our cards either. If he did, he would have gone straight up for us, since he knows it's best to take out the toughest competition first. What would you have done if someone just so happened to get all your cards when they were first distributed? Nothing much. I just die knowing I lost a bet and cursed my fate. That's about it. I can't really stand this woman sometimes. She makes you think she's got you planned out, but then leaves the most crucial bits up to luck. How cautious at rational actions end up getting thrown out the window when she goes wild for no discernible reason. I honestly don't know what goes on in her head. This is the first time I've come across a woman who doesn't just do whatever a man tells them to do. Jesus, what? This is the first time you had a woman with actual freaking brains? This is set in the 21st century, I'd assume. They have cars and shit in an actual high school. What? I don't know. That's so weird. That, like, this ain't medieval, like the 1500s. The 1500s, for the most part, you know, you'd get those rare women who actually cared about themselves for whatever reason. I don't know why. They just did whatever people told them to do. I don't know. But then you go way back and you go to like Native American tribes and you'll see women like this all the time. You know, it depends on where you go in the past also. Because, I mean, frankly, where we're at in the 21st century is technically not even the farthest we've come in terms of women's rights, because of the way that women were treated in a lot of societies back in the day. But, I mean, that's besides the point. The worst part of it all, though... Well, either way, we're working together till it's just us two. If you ain't up for it, let me smack you around some more. That's what she does to resolve anything. She resorts to violence. I can't call her nasty name out loud, so I just keep the insults to my head. Moving on, there's a reason we're in China, and we need to be in Japan for the final day of the divine selection. Oh, is there? Isn't it obvious? As much as I love Peking duck, I'd never be able to eat it right here in Beijing. I've never been able to eat it right here in Beijing before. Are you serious? I've got some homework to do out here as well. Huh? Right. Right before our ship got attacked, I caught wind of a top brass exec for a Chinese food company collapsing during a meeting. You might have guessed, Odette's the representative for a certain shipping company. Of course, we're talking about this woman, so there ain't no way that it's a plain old shipping company. Doesn't matter if it involves drugs or even dead bodies, they'll take any job they're paid to do. In that regards, you can call them smugglers. Their existence is kept in the dark, though, likely because certain governments are shy about making use of them. Well, it's not quite accurate to say they'll take any job, considering Odette makes it a point to turn down anything she considers boring. Certain circumstances led to my hitching a ride on her boat, which is how we ended up cooperating in the first place. I went to look up more info on after we'd been brought back, but turns out there wasn't any record of the incident at all. Hold on. Doesn't that mean I can't take the bite of food in front of my mouth when she says that? She, on the other hand, grabs a bottle of blah and downs what's left of it. I've got to keep tabs on this sort of info thanks to my line of work, so I ain't gonna forget about something like that easy. His name, Ro Shanho. I dug deeper after that, and he is the kicker. He seems to be alive and well. What? I wonder if we... No, we still haven't received any cards yet. What? The moment she mentions his name, the book inside emulates a strange light. A big, thick, auburn-covered book with the same gold leaf decorations on it, but there's no pages in it, just a big hole in the middle where you open it. I've got the exact same book, see? It's some kind of card-storing book that is for the divine selection. Now we're talking. The dull light focuses into a single point when she opens her book. It gradually fades, and in its place a single rectangular piece of paper. Odette catches it hovering in midair. Bingo! Looks like our friend Rao Chanho is number 7. Well, damn, that was easy. That was easy. Alright, well, we figured out that number 7 is this Ranho guy, and that's going to be all for this episode, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you click that thumbs up button down below for me, because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. And without further ado, we're going to end this episode off, so thank you so much again. Click that subscribe button for future content if you want to see what happens next. You can play for the game for yourself on Steam. It's not very expensive, not to mention I don't know if there's multiple routes. I believe there is, and if you want to play routes that we do not explore in this playthrough, then make sure to pick up the game yourself. So we'll see you next time.